Once again, seems a little strange that I would go that many laps without any problems, and then that would happen. And that seems like it's on their end. Or there's some interference in between. And I would like to point out that today I got a notification that one of my videos of me smoking federally approved hemp on YouTube got taken down because I was accused of using a controlled substance on video just because I used the word dimethyltryptamine. Apparently someone made an assumption and reported me. And that's exactly what that felt like. It's like, no, I didn't. no, that shouldn't have happened. Oh, well, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. I think the argument would have been that somehow the lift prior just to that corner would have reduced my grip and that I would have gone farther out, except I didn't do that any other of the times, and I took the corner the same way, pretty much, with the same mentality, same awareness. So we'll call it an anomaly and move on. Once again, I'd like to point out that I've been experiencing interference. I can't assume that this is what it is, but I'm pointing out the reason I'm suspicious is because I've been experiencing interference in places where I can clearly note that this is intentional interference, and it has been done in a way that is not according to the same rules that they're trying to enforce or the same ideology that they're claiming is what they are representing. So I'm very aware of the possibility that someone is trying to, in those situations, alter my perception of reality to either interfere with my real life potential real life motorcycle driving, or to intimidate me away from obtaining a motorcycle in real life for either selfish or conspiratorial reasons. And once again, I'm not making assumptions because there's a thing called paranoia, which is, by the way, mostly based on fear. Awareness is not the same thing as fear. And if you say it is, that would explain why your awareness of me seemingly caused you, I'm speaking to the corrupt law enforcement, that your awareness of me seemingly caused you to accuse me of terrorism. You just must not be aware of some of these other behaviors that actually qualify as such from other people other than me. Yeah, sorry to take it there, but that's where it is. I believe that their attempt at excusing themselves from breaking the law to torture me in these ways, if that is what it is, which in some cases it is, what it is. And I've seen the excuse is they say it's crime suppression. They claim that since I'm inherently criminal, because they've managed to prosecute things, because I've let things go without digging in on the legal defense because it's a waste of fucking time, that somehow I'm inherently a criminal and that everything I do is in order to either actually perform a criminal act or to prepare to perform a criminal act, which is absolutely insane because you can just literally apply that to anybody and they just say, no, you can't. And because we're law enforcement, stuff like that. So, this is a continuation of my commentary from last time I was playing this game. And it will continue probably to crop up in various pretty much any avenue where I experience interference or even just frustration that I can take an opportunity to explain it. Because sometimes I think maybe it's not in this case, but sometimes I think, well, I'm leaving the possibility open that some of these issues, I leave the possibility open that it's not interference in between me and the whatever I'm doing, and it's interference from outside affecting me. In this case, I think it was interference on the machine or in the machine somewhere. But sometimes I think maybe it's a result of compromising my well-being, which they go hand in hand. And the main reason that I think that this is so serious is because I've spent so much time dialing it in on being so acutely aware of factors and fighting against forces that wish to simply discredit me because they're operating on a non-ethical and usually non-factual basis. And they see me as a threat because I am operating on an ethical and factual basis. And like I will just say this, that it's difficult for me to then put the mic down and stop talking about it because I can hear the narrative continuing. It's just this constant stream, talk about algorithms of discreditation, of just simply spinning a narrative which counters mine and relies on the use of force to present it as a preceding argument as opposed to simply just accepting what I'm saying as truth and honesty. And the main reason this is an issue is because they have some very clear, not even theoretical issues with their argument, whereas everything that they have to say against me when it comes to the ultimate aspect of creating this narrative against me actually relies on theory. It actually relies on assumptions that they make, and it's not based on fact, because every time they have a fact involved, there's always a bigger context that explains how we got there and how they are complicit to this issue occurring, and not just complicit, but usually the cause. Whereas that's not the case for me. It just doesn't go both ways like that. A lot of things go both ways, but that doesn't. See, stuff like that. How is that happening? All I did was press A. When I put the controller down, this happened, and then when I just pressed A to start the track, it happened again. What is the cause of that? there it is again. It's proving my point. I don't know what would be causing that. I don't even know what button you have to press to do that, but I'm not pressing anything other than A. I'm pretty sure this is why they took my computer into custody, so that they could route some sort of module in so that they could do shit like this to try to drive me insane. See, look. Oh, I get it. No, wait. This is, with deeper consideration, this is a downloadable DLC track. Now I understand what's happening. See? And I'm not just sticking to, oh, it's their fault. Once I realized what it was, I'm like, oh, wait, no, never mind. I see that little thing right there. I'm right to be suspicious, but in this case, that was not the case. And you might say I admit that, and if you want to use that term, that's fine. But as long as you don't attach to it, oh, well, you were wrong for assuming that in the first place. No, I just didn't notice what it was, and now I acknowledge that that's not what it was. It was just the fact that it's a DLC track. Calm down. I didn't go on my way of trying to prosecute anyone over it. And I didn't try to reinforce it once I realized what the actual issue was. Oh. See, I just chose another DLC track. Now, if I was on certain types of substances right now, I might go a little overboard and go, well, it wasn't there before I pressed the button to try to play it. It only showed up afterwards. I don't think that'll be effective in this scenario. And then someone's over there going, you mean the types of substances I'm accusing you of being on and basing my entire case against you on? Yes, those ones which I'm not on. Exactly. And of course now, even the ones that aren't, they aren't DLC, now they aren't working either. So, as you can see, I was correct to be suspicious. Because, watch this, still working. Not working. Can't start the track. So, anyway, it's ironic because I was actually trying to back off and give the benefit of the doubt, but it turns out I was right about something. Something's wrong. Something is wrong. Oh, wouldn't it be hilarious if they're like, well, we want him to stop playing this game because it goes against his probationary period. How? Like, shit like that. That's the sort of shit I expect them to say. Anyway, closing the game out, ending the video. It's not worth freaking out over.